Hello, in today's video I'm going to share with you the one thing that I did that stopped me being controlled immediately by the narcissist. And the surprising thing is, this isn't what I intended from when I did this thing. It's just something that happened and I can recognise it now in hindsight. Hello, I'm Sarah and I help people get free from the effects of narcissism and start creating a great, fantastic life no matter what they've been through. The thing is, I needed to feel better. And if you've been following my story in earlier videos, you will know that I was trying to work out ways that I could leave and get my life back on track. And I basically hit ground zero. And my only choice was really to give in to being emotionally, psychologically and physically destroyed, or to do something different. The only thing was, I didn't know what to do. I was feeling trapped and powerless, and it was truly my breakdown moment. And you may have heard Einstein's definition of insanity, which is you can't expect to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And the truth of this really hit me deeply, and nothing I said or did was going to stop this implosion. And looking back, everything was stacked against me. And at the time I knew something was very wrong, but at this stage I really didn't quite know how wrong it all was. And I didn't actually know that I was dealing with a sociopath. I knew nothing about them at all. And in that moment, life guided me to focus on me and not him. And that saved my life. And I'm looking back on all this now, and my heart goes out to my younger self, because she really didn't know how to deal with any of this, and she felt completely hopeless and overwhelmed. And she really did need some help. That's when I heard the voice. And in a single moment, I just let go of everything in my mind and on the inside. And I've written about this event before, and every time I think about it, I'm just feeling absolute appreciation that even when she felt broken, Sarah was able to hear this voice, and this is what it said. You're meant to be happy in this lifetime. You're not meant to be living like this. So the events that unfolded after this point were just incredible, miraculous even. And it wasn't just an idea. The words got through to my core, and I realised that all through my life, for reasons I was later to gain full understanding and awareness of, I had been programmed for unhappiness. But this wasn't who I really was meant to be. And when I heard the voice, it was like time had been suspended, and I was in this sort of standstill moment. And in that moment, I just literally put the burden of everything down, and it was like a heavy bag that I carried for miles. And I just felt this immediate sense of visceral relief. It was a beautiful feeling. The calm, the peace, and I actually felt love and really connected to love, and it just felt really deep. It was unending and it was limitless. And I'd never experienced this before. It was a really magical moment. I didn't know the full impact, but in that moment and afterwards, my life had absolutely changed forever. So moving forward felt different to me. I still had to deal with life. And in the death throes of a toxic marriage, that was pretty horrific. But I knew it was just a phase I was moving through. And I knew that I could go back to that well of peace and calm whenever I needed to, which made things a little bit easier. and I decided to go and learn how to meditate properly. So I booked into a local Buddhist sanctuary for a couple of days. And my transformation just continued after that, and I knew that I was changing. And what was happening was my awareness and consciousness had actually altered. And I discovered Buddhist meditations and realised that I'd been meditating properly from the beginning, even though I didn't know what it was. And I was still fascinated by the process. I wanted to learn more and really understand what had happened to me. So what I now realised was that I was getting a sense of who I was really meant to be all along. And it was a knowing that I was connected to all of life, the universe and everything. Nothing could change that, not even my negative thoughts. And thoughts, I realised, were just thoughts. They can change like clouds change in the sky. We can notice them, we can observe them, but they're just passing by. And thoughts are not our true self or true identity. We can also change our thoughts for better ones that match the truth of who we really are. So life changed massively after this moment, and in some ways it was very frightening as the sociopath realised I was different and reacted in ever more manipulative ways, and they were dangerous. But for my part, I found enough of a voice that I explained I wanted out of the marriage. Following that decision, everything I needed to happen just happened. It all seemed to fall into place, and the timing and the speed of everything was nothing short of miraculous. I got a new job. I got a new car. I found a new house to rent, which was lovely. And I began making plans to set a moving date. Oh, and also I got some cash, from a small amount of cash from an inheritance. So I was actually quite scared at this point, but strangely excited, and I knew I was doing exactly the right thing. I wasn't sure about all the steps I needed to take in the future, but I could trust myself enough to work it all out. The sociopath had also been making plans and creating God knows what stories to explain to friends what was happening. He had done much that would have ruined his very public reputation if it all got out, which I guess is what he feared more than anything else. So he covered that eventuality by vilifying me and alienating mutual friends. And this is otherwise known as the smear campaign. I'm writing this with hindsight, obviously, but at the time I knew something weird was going on behind the scenes. I could sense it. But nevertheless, I kept focused on moving out and creating a better life for myself. And at the time, I did not know anything about smear campaigns and how it was an abuse tactic that narcissists use regularly. But unwittingly, I would get to know about them as time went on. So the reason why the sociopath sensed I was different is that I had stopped reacting to things he did or said. Kind of found a detachment from this energy. And from the moment of knowing who I really was, my enlightenment moment, I guess that's what it was, I realised that the only person that could affect my thoughts was me. Nobody else had that power over me to control my thoughts or actions. And in this regard, I actually give myself credit to my meditation practice for helping me to stop the continual mind chatter and confusion that are symptoms of narcissistic abuse. I was beginning to take my power back, and it saved my life. The sociopath was becoming more and more unhinged as the moving date grew nearer. And the less I reacted to his abuse, the more unhinged he became. And it got so bad that police intervention was actually required, and this is when this person was actually removed from my life forever. The universe, as I understand it now, created no contact, and that was the beginning of my new life. So now I look back and realise that the meditation practice that I had established helped me to recover some sense of self. It stopped my reactivity and regulated my emotional state. It enabled me to stay grounded in exceptionally difficult times, and it helped me to learn how to create a sense of inner peace. Also helped me to connect with the universe and trust the deeper, truest parts of who I really am. I still had a lot of work to do ahead of me, but I made a start at building my emotional toolkit. And as time went on in my recovery, I began to learn that I had a great deal of trauma to heal. And thankfully, another miracle, information about how to do this came to me, and I was able to start creating a happier life. And this, I realised, was actually my destiny. I didn't know how to be happy, but I decided I would find out. So I hope you find my story inspirational, and maybe some of it resonates with you. I'm reminded that we can't change what has happened to us, but we can change how we think about it. And we can learn to deal with our negative thoughts and mind. It's totally possible. And we can actively heal them, so we're not damaged forever. And when we learn how to do this, we can begin to create our happy ever after, which is what I did. And your transformation can start as soon as you decide you want to be happy. Just then begin to see how life unfolds, and maybe miracles can show up for you too. See you in the next video.